Hi and welcome to my channel, and today we're doing the same thing but with a slightly different flavor, and the flavor is Faygo Red Pop. Did you guess it was clown apologetics? Because that's what it is. No, today I am showing you the speed paint with my Gamzee illustration, the most recent one. I say the most recent one because no one on this channel likes Gamzee, right? Right? Okay, anyway. I'm showing you the speed paint, but instead of talking about the art this week, I am going to do some blatant clown apologetics. And next week we will talk about the illustration, and I'm going to break down the layers a little bit and talk about some things that I like that I did and some things that I think I could do better, is what I'm gonna say, to be optimistic. Right, so 18 minutes to make a case for Gamzee Makara. Let's do it. So the first thing that I'm gonna start off with is the reason that everybody doesn't like him, which is obviously his actions on the meteor. And I know what you're gonna say. He stopped doing drugs. He's sober. When he's sober, he's a bad troll clown dude. No, okay? It's not what happened. And I'm gonna prove that. I'm gonna prove that to you, okay? So, Gamzee looks into the eyes of Lil Cal, who is possessed by Lord English, the version of Lord English that has himself and a version of Equius inside of it. So he looks into Lil Cal's eyes and he sees these things. And we know that Lil Cal has the ability to possess, as we see in Act 6 with Lord Jack. That was his name, Lord Jack. The really scary one. The really freaking scary one. Yeah, so we know that Lil Cal has the ability to do that. And the reason that I think that Gamzee did not kill because he is sober is because he has the opportunity to kill Terezi while she is investigating Tavros, which, by the way, it's worth mentioning. I am a blatant Gamtav shipper, and it might cloud my judgment just a bit, but it's worth mentioning that Terezi is investigating Tavros' dead body. So Gamzee knows that his flush crush is dead, which I can imagine would be upsetting to anyone, because Tavros and Gamzee, even if they aren't in a relationship, are really good friends. And Tavros is one of the only trolls that actually kind of treats Gamzee like he's not a useless stoner. The argument here today is not whether or not Gamzee is a useless stoner. It is to absolve him of his actions. Anyway, he has an opportunity to kill Terezi, and he does not. He only takes her glasses and walks away. He specifically targets Equius, and this is because he is being mind controlled by Lil Cal, aka Lord English, because he has to put the pieces into place, because Caliborn, who becomes Lord English, is a time player. He has to put the pieces into place so everything happens the way it does. He has to kill Equius so that Equius will later become Arquius Sprite and later be sucked into Lil Cal with Gamzee and Caliborn. Nepeta, who just, poor baby, happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't think he would have maliciously killed her otherwise. I really think that the only reason that she was targeted is because she leapt out and attacked. And yeah, that just happened to happen. Again, Gamzee also knows that Vriska is the one that kills Tavros, because he uses the opportunity to pin both murders on Vriska, so that and leads Terezi in that direction, puts Terezi on the scent, so that she'll punish Vriska for it. He is setting Vriska up to fall. He wants to punish her for killing his flush crush. I'm just saying. And further on that note, later in Act 6, all he really needs to do is fuse Equius with Dirk's AR Lil Hal and create Arceus Sprite. But he chooses to make strange pairings with the corpses of his dead friends. He makes Aerosol Sprite, and most of it I think is for laughs. But he did make Tavris Sprite, and I wondered for a long time why he would do that. But I finally figured it out. I think he did it to fuse Vriska with Tavros because he found an opportunity to punish her after death for killing him. And yeah, I think that's what happened. And it didn't last long, but I think, well, she did some things, because that version of Vriska at the end of it had a pretty significant change of heart. Pretty big pushover, to be honest. And yeah, that's what I think about that. Moving on to other things that are not so great that people think about Gamzee. I guess I have to talk about Gamrezi. I guess. The wiki says that Terezi was ashen for Gamzee during the Murder Stuck arc, which makes sense if she suspects that Vriska is the one that's killing everyone and not Gamzee. But yeah, it sort of leads me to believe that maybe she was the one who incited that relationship rather than Gamzee. And also, which you don't really find out either way. It's sort of just a horrible, horrible thing that's there. And then, of course, you have Game Over. His actions in Game Over. I feel like it's not an ideal. It's not a very ideal thing to happen. He was being mind controlled by Aranea. All of his actions leading up to that point were Aranea. She mind controlled him to get the ring to bring her back, and she set up a lot of things to fall, which of course Game Over was just atrocious for everyone. But it's worth noting that Terezi did attack Gamzee first. And it's also worth noting that Gamzee did not kill Terezi. He absolutely wipes the floor with her. I mean, he lets her have it with both barrels, but he does not kill Terezi. He has the opportunity to. He could straight deadass drop her in the lava, but he doesn't. There is the issue of Karkat. He did do that. But I have to say, probably at that point, he probably feels kind of betrayed by Karkat, who was supposed to be his Moirel, and sort of didn't really have his back during all that. And I think that had Gamzee not ended the Moor Allegiance, Karkat would have, or rather, Karkat wasn't really doing anything to sustain it. So it's possible that reaction, because Karkat was the first person he actually attempted to murder, since Equius and Nepeta. And that had been 3 years. 3 years on the meteor with all the kids and the trolls, and he probably could have hunted down every single one of them and killed them, because he was the highest tier, or the highest blood cast on the meteor, so he was stronger than all the other trolls. Might have had an issue with Kanaya, but he could have wiped out Rose and Dave easily, if they were trying to defend him trying to kill other people, then their death would have been just, and that would have been it. But again, he doesn't. He minds his own business for 3 years. Then there's the fact that Game Over got retconned. He spent all that time mind controlled by Vriska, and then they put him in the refrigerator. in the Candy timeline where he's relevant, 7 years he is in the refrigerator. 7 years. And they let him out. And what does he do? Nothing. We don't have to talk about Jane. We don't have to talk about that. But he doesn't do anything. Ever. For however long he's 32. Okay? They're 32. They all have kids. He doesn't do anything. And yet, Vriska shows up, beats him up, tongues him, and then kills him when he is trying to tell Karkat what happened, that she's back, and then Frenched him, and that was a thing. She kills him so that he won't tell anyone. And people react to his body by saying really terrible, awful things. Nobody reacts to the fact that Vriska is there and that she's been gone for years. They're just like, oh, I can't find peace in the fact that poor Gamzee is dead. Although they don't say poor Gamzee, they say really mean, awful things about him. But again, it just bugs me. Like, yeah, he's not the most likable character from a sane standpoint, but I do think the way that he gets treated is not very fair, and I think the way that people perceive him is unfair when you have and I'm not saying that a lot of people like Vriska either, but it's not really fair that post-retcon Vriska gets to become the leader of the Meteor, even though she just kills Tavros. She makes Jack Noir, says, oh, I want to protect my friends from this monster that I created, even though that her doing what she's gonna do is gonna lead to all her friends getting killed. Tavros tries to stand up to her and she kills him. And everyone's like, nah, it's fine, it was just Tavros. But, you know, Gamzee is going through some stuff. His flush crush is dead, one of his only really good friends. He's out of the slime, which has been in his system forever, so he's now detoxing, and he had to go through the whole little cow thing. Okay, so he kills Equius and Nepeta, and everyone's like, oh my god, what an absolute terrible person you are. Get in the fridge, we never want to see you again. Vriska is fine though, despite what her actions. She's fine. Paralyzes Tavros, blinds Terezi, kills Aradia. She's fine. Kills Tavros. She's fine. Gamzee has an episode, and he's the worst human ever. And he never even kills anyone again, man. That makes me so upset. It makes me so upset. Besides the fact that he's one of my favorites, I just feel like he was treated unfairly, and I think that we should absolve the clown. And I think that we should let him die. And I think we should just let him go to the dream bubble. I do. I think we should mercy kill the clown so that the writers can't make him gross anymore. And I'm gonna keep making fan art and AUs and wholesome things until everybody forgives Gamzee for what he did. Okay, well, that's about all of the Gamzee apologetics that I think that I can do. Next week, I will be back with another video, as usual, Saturday, noon EST. I am going to break down my layers a little bit and talk about the art for this, and hopefully I will learn something, and so will you guys. I will also mention that my streams, I had been streaming on Wednesday and Sunday, and that kind of fell apart with the way everything is going. I've been trying to stream a little bit more, but it's kind of sporadic. I would like to eventually try to fall into a schedule again, but until then, I stream randomly on twitch.tv/JericaSharpArt. I did stream a little bit of this. I managed to on 4/13, because what else am I gonna offer to Homestuck on Homestuck Day other than the man, the myth, the legend, Gamzee Makara? What else am I gonna give them? Because this is the content that I want to see. I don't want to see Tavros anymore. Don't drag him into this. Don't drag him into what Homestuck has become, okay? Leave him dead. He's fine where he is. Just either make Gamzee good, make Gamzee kill them all, or send Gamzee to the bubble. Hashtag send Gamzee to the bubble. That's my new campaign. Yeah. I will also continue posting these every Saturday, because I feel like I'm doing a good being consistent. Yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. I certainly enjoyed making this, of course. There's I think this is the first time I drew Gamzee in his god tier, I think. Who knows, okay? This is, look, we both know that this isn't the beginning of this isn't the end of Gamzee, okay? It's not. He's here. He's been in the corners. He's in your vents. He's in your hearts and mind, and he's at the bottom of every bottle of Faygo that you drink. Is this too weird yet? I hope it's not too weird. Yeah, I like that this was my Gamzee apologetics video, and I made the scariest possible Gamzee that I could possibly make. Actually, I think I could probably make him scarier if I really wanted to. I just really don't want to. Yeah, but everybody wants to make Gamzee a bad guy. I gave him bad guy Gamzee. You mess with Honko, you get the bonko. That's gonna be a thing, isn't it? I'm gonna make that a thing. Yep, there you go. You mess with Honko, you get the bonko. Well, thanks for watching, you guys. I will be back next week, and we will break this down, and yeah, I guess subscribe if you want, if you feel like it. I'm not gonna stop posting content if you don't, so yeah.